Hi everyone, welcome to this introduction to Agile and Agile project management. We're starting with life cycle selection, and Agile is one of those life cycles, those project life cycles or product development life cycles, but there are others like waterfall that you may have heard of and different variations in between. And believe it or not, Agile isn't a fit for every situation. Nothing can be. And so we look at the times when Agile really does work well and also when other methods might work well as well. And that way you know the difference between them and when you should be using Agile in your product development or your projects. And the reason there are different types of life cycles is to fit the situations that we're going to find ourselves in when we're developing products or creating or working along projects. And those situations include different organizational structures. So you might be working in a project management office, you might be working for a functional manager, for example, or there are different management styles within these as well. So you might have a directive management style that you're working with and the people within the project, or you might have more democratic management styles where people want all of their input and that sort of thing. There are different sizes. So you might have a small project, just a little process improvement within one team, or you might have a large project spanning many teams or maybe even many organizations, and that will impact how you want to manage it and the project lifecycle that you're going to use. You might have different customer needs. For example, they might be open to many changes or they might not be open to many changes, and that's going to impact it as well. And there are of course different products or outputs that we're going to be working towards. Now the list of things goes on. There are many more. So you might have co-located teams or dispersed teams. Is everyone in the one place, or is everyone across countries or in different cities or in different buildings? That will impact how you manage your project and the life cycle that we use. You might be governed by a supportive controlling or a directive PMO, the different types there. Are they actually telling you exactly what you need to be doing? Or are they just giving you templates and giving you guidelines? Or are they completely hands-off? Or is there even a project management office altogether? Or you might be working for the functional manager themselves within the organization that you're delivering the project to. Now your sponsor or your customers might want different reporting. So daily reports, do they want to check in every day? Is it a weekly report? Do they just want a working group meeting? Or do they just want a monthly report that summarizes everything that's happened so far? Everyone has different ways of working and everyone has different needs. And this is the way that we adhere to those needs and work with those needs by choosing the right life cycle. You might have more than one customer benefiting from your project, and the project may be technically simple or technically complex. And that brings us to our next section on easily definable work, where we might use more of a waterfall approach, or where we can define everything up front, all of our scope and cost and everything, and then go ahead and create that project and then deliver it right at the end. Or we might be working with a more adaptable approach, where we've got high uncertainty and things are subject to change. So the project work ranges from definable work to a high uncertainty work, and that means definable is where we've got clear procedures. Maybe we've got something that's similar to a past project. We know what to expect. This might be the production of a car that has been done before. It might be the production of an appliance or a home. After the design is complete, we clearly know what needs to be done and how to do it. But high uncertainty, on the other hand, is where we might have high rates of change and high rates of complexity, and therefore high rates of risk as well. So this could be things like system or problem solving for engineers. Maybe they have to figure out how to build a bridge under certain circumstances. Maybe there's salt water or high winds, and that now we're starting to think about, we need to change our approach if something does not work. Product designers, doctors, lawyers, and teachers all have high uncertainty in their jobs, and you could probably think of many more than that. But what we're looking at is if our requirements, so if the customer requirements that they're wanting us to deliver something to, so create a product to meet their requirements, if we're quite certain of that, then it's very simple. And if the technical challenges, so it's not too technically complex, then there's no technical complexity, then it's also very simple. And this is where our linear approaches, so our waterfall, our very standard, design everything up front, go ahead and create it over a certain period of time, and then deliver it to our customer. But of course, if we've got high uncertainty in our requirements, so if they're going to change, or if we've got high uncertainty in our technical challenges, so maybe we don't know what to expect, maybe we're going to uncover things as we go along, then of course we move into more complex projects, and adaptive approaches work better here. And that's where Agile really shines, and that's where it comes into play. As we said before, no life cycle can be perfect for all projects. So instead, each project finds a place on the continuum that provides an optimum balance. And what we're looking at here is in that low degree of change and low frequency of delivery, then yes, maybe a predictive or waterfall approach would work well, where we just need to deliver once and we can plan everything up front. But if we've got a high degree of change, and we've got a high frequency of delivery, maybe our customer wants increments delivered at certain intervals, maybe a piece of the puzzle here, a piece of the puzzle here, a piece of the product, for example, so that they can see, feel, and touch it and check that everything is going okay. That's when we're looking at more of an agile approach. We're using iterative ways of working, so we're improving and building everything back into the product, but we're also incrementally releasing features. And we're really going to get into that over the next lot of these videos of Agile and Agile project management. So this brings us to the different types of life cycles, and we'll briefly touch on these and then we'll delve into them in a lot more detail in the next video. But predictive is that waterfall approach. As we've said a couple of times, we can plan everything up front, and of course then we can deliver it in one big bang and it's done. Now when we're iterating, then we're actually still delivering in one big bang, but we're improving our product over time. We're getting that feedback, changing it, improving it. We're iterating towards success. Incremental is when we're delivering increments or features, we'll see, with feature-driven development coming up. And Agile, this is the best part, is where we're using iterative and incremental approaches. So it's a combination of them both. We're delivering small bits and pieces, features that a customer can see, feel, and touch, and we're also iterating and building that feedback back into the product and into our process. And that is the detail around lifecycle selection and when it's best to use Agile in your project and product creation.